Ankur is there on the call and
Hello.
yeah.
So, okay, let me start. Ankur this side. I'm the founder of Sugarcane AI. You probably have been participating in the Promptathon. So I think you probably have a little brief idea of Sugarcane AI. So before going ahead, let me give a small introduction that what we are trying to do with Sugarcane AI and a little bit of my background as well. So Sugarcane AI, this is my third startup, and I am an IT Allahabad graduate 2010, and I've been building startup for last 14 years. So since the dawn of Gen AI, a lot of things, everyone has probably known that a lot of things are changing in the world, right? So today we'll be discussing a lot about what is the future of AI, what is the jobs around AI, and with Sugarcane AI, we are trying to build the future of AI. And one of the prime futures that we see with Sugarcane AI is that in everything that you do in future, you will use AI in some form. And as ChatGPT has powered a lot of people to use AI for their personal use cases, we are trying to change the world by enabling people to build using AI. So they can really upscale themselves to use AI in everything that they do, not as a user, but they can build something in just 5 lines of writing a prompt, no, not need to know any coding as well. So we are trying to change that thing so anyone can build something. That's our vision with Sugarcane AI. So coming back to today's webinar, we have Nivedan as our first speaker who will be talking about future of AI. And before we jump to the session, let's start with a few updates around Promptathon. Rahul will be helping us with the updates on latest updates and announcements for Promptathon.
Thank you, Ankur. Just a quick question to everyone. Are you guys liking it? Does anybody have something to share? We would be really, really open and glad if you guys could just start saying, have you guys prepared your first sugar cube? Anyone?
Please, you can let us know by you're using your emojis in the Zoom, or you can share your answers on the chat.
Guys, we want some more interaction from all of you.
Let's keep this as much as interactive as possible. Prabhakar is saying
Bhagar
just
is writing
waiting
on
some.
progress. Okay, guys. So without further ado, I'll just mark certain things that I just have my agenda on. Guys, firstly, I would just want everyone to understand that Promptathon is something which is a first of its kind generative AI community that we're building around it. We will teach you on how to become a little future ready. We're curating content, keeping in mind so that it's easier for you to grasp, so that it's easier for you. And we're getting speakers like Nivedan for you to understand more about the industry, the insights, and expertise that you can get from him. Second would be, guys, start creating your sugar cubes. It will take a bit of time. We are giving you that time. So we would want you to start make your sugar cube submissions as well. For the third would be, okay, we'll tell you on how to do that as well. Uh, Third agenda would be that, guys, we want more active participations on our social media platforms from you guys. You guys know that every day at around 7 to 8, we post the link, the videos, and everywhere on all our social media platforms. You are connected with us. So we would want more active participation from you guys. Now, enough of the task. Another fun thing that we have curated for you is that there is a game night by OG Gangs. So we are doing that on the 23rd itself. So we would want you to be a part of it. It has cash prizes. We want all of you to come in, and I'm sure we have PUBG fans here. So it'll be a fun event. Guys, one last thing, you guys might have questions, and it's very, very okay. And we know that we would want, we've specifically allocated the last 15 minutes for the Q&A. So we would want all your questions to be directed around that. So right now, without further delay, I would want Nivedan sir to please take the center stage and please brief everyone. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir.
Let me kick this off. Okay. Hi, everyone. Am I visible to everyone here? Quick confirmation. Audible, visible, everything sorted? Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me here. First of all, you guys at Sugarcane AI are doing a phenomenal job. We've spoken earlier, and I love the fact that you are here to help build a huge community of people, of builders, and that is where we found alignment. So I want all of the people here to know that we share a very similar vision of what we are doing at Future and AI. We're creating a platform for everyone who's interested in Gen AI, people who are building stuff in Gen AI, who want to learn things in Gen AI, to have a platform where they can learn, share their knowledge, as well as use it as a launchpad for their own little ventures and startups, which hopefully go on to grow into multi-million and billion-dollar opportunities one day. So I'm really glad that we're having this session because it kind of aligns so strongly with our vision for the future here. I truly believe that our future will have a lot of AI, more than we think as of now. There are so many use cases to be discovered. So just since I've had a quick introduction, I'll start off with we won't take a lot of time. It's 7:10 right now. By 8 or 8:10 we should be wrapped up. I want to make sure that there is a lot of value that you guys receive from here. And the most important thing, in the early days of Gen AI that we are in, it's most important that we understand deeply what AI is, how can we leverage it, what are the coolest things some of the people have done here, and what are some very intelligent, what are the ways some really intelligent people are using AI today. I think these are some things that we would like to take away and see where our collective as well as individual future is headed. Okay. So just, to give a little bit of background context here, I've been an early stage tech entrepreneur before, and I've led one of the business and marketing verticals at one of the large e-commerce at Meesho, and have made AI products before. And now our community has grown to 150,000 plus people, right? And we make a lot of content, especially educational content for everyone there. Okay, so these are the four things that we're going to talk about. We'll understand what AI is. We'll, go through a bunch of these AI tools. I think you would know some of these names already. The names that you haven't heard yet, I would strongly recommend that you spend enough time to research deeply. I think today is a time when we explore possibilities, and we'll keep this session focused towards some of the very core skills that we will cover by the end of it, which is the prompting framework. It's a very powerful thing that I have devised and collated a lot of knowledge and a lot of strategies that people have used over time in how to prompt chat GPT, for instance, and how you guys can immediately up your game of prompting from wherever you are to at least 5x 10x the quality of output you receive from every single interaction you have with chat GPT, let's say. The third piece is my favorite bit, which is I think most of us are today getting AI wrong. We don't think of it in a way which serves us the best. Of course, we understand that it's a certain technology that all of us get, but I want to talk about what it means truly, and what paradigm, what perspective is it that helps you open up your mind to the possibilities insanely, in an insanely big manner than you do currently. So before we jump into this, guys, I would like to, oh, this is the promise, by the way. This is my favorite slide also. This is the promise I make, that by the end of 1 hour, you will have had a little bit of transformation, which would look something like this. Are there any South Park fans here by any chance? Anyone seen South Park? Just, before we get kickstarted on the serious stuff about AI. Any South Park fans? Let's use the chat. I think if some of you are, doing things by the side, please make sure you spend every minute once in a while on engaging with everyone in here in the chat. Are we there? Are we there? Nobody is watched South Park ever? Very interesting. Okay. Strong recommendation. Go watch South Park. Okay. So, let's start with this. And this is the question I like to kind of get a sense of where we all are, right? So what's the first thing that comes to your mind when we mention the word, or when you hear the word AI, the first word, no judgments, no logic to be used, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What's the first emotion that comes to your mind? The first word that comes to your mind? Can we have a quick, show of opinions here? Automation, wonderful. Ability of machines to apply logic. Robotics, automation, again, wonderful. Bots, we've got machine having mind. I like this description, Mohan. Machine having mind. Chatbots, yes. Nitin says job loss. Yes, absolutely. I was waiting for someone to mention job loss. Makes work easy, and millions of opportunities. Interesting. Ketan, you're an optimist, huh? I liked optimist. I'm a default optimist. So take whatever I say with a pinch of grain, salt. Where like I have a tendency to be optimist, but I'm happy to talk about, if you have the time. I'm happy to talk about some of the real risks of AI, because there are. And but as the agenda of this particular webinar, we're going to focus only and only on how AI can serve us, and not make it a philosophical discussion if the time doesn't permit. Intelligence, future, lots of learning. How an illiterate learn born baby. Okay, how to understand how babies learn. Understood. So we've got to see. So see, this is why I do this exercise, for all of us to see where this group of people who are right now sharing this room with us, uh, for you to know, this is the variety of understanding of what AI means for different people, right? And I want to stress on the meaning of AI in a technical way, and then in a way which is far more useful than just a technical way, right? So this is what the AI is typically defined. I've simplified the definition, but this is what it technically means. And this is the less exciting definition. We're going to get to the more exciting one. So it's a technology that enables machines, which is or non-humans, to learn, to make decisions, and to perform tasks like humans, right? Before this, and let this sink in, I think for some of you, this definition may, while be obvious, for others it may be like, okay, interesting, this is a good way to look at what AI really is. And without making it full of technical jargons, as there is a deep learning network and this and that, and what is LLM, we're not going to get into that. But to understand that humans inherently live in a world of ambiguity. We are not pre-programmed set of devices like our smartphones. However smart we think our smartphones are, a larger part, practically most of our smartphones, are pre-programmed to behave a certain way. Click here, you click on the icon, the app opens. You tap within the app, somewhere a text box opens. You scroll, it gets scrolled basis the speed of your finger. All of those were predetermined logics according to which your smartphone was behaving. It appears smart, but is it smart? We all know that it's not as smart. We know that there are algorithms and we've always known that for more than a decade. And AI was, we've known AI, the concept of AI, since 1950s. So the concept is not new. The ridiculous amount of improvement and accomplishment that we've had in the last 1 year specifically, right, is what has brought it to public eye. And that is when a lot of new possibilities have opened up. AI was always being used for your Facebook algorithms, and for all kinds of social media algorithms, for a lot of use cases in academia, and a lot of business decision making was happening on large data sets. But all of that has been exponentially improved, and new dimensions have been added with generative AI. And the only difference that the pre-generative AI and the post-generative AI, the only difference that they have is, earlier the AI could predict the pattern and say, okay, whether two things are within the same pattern or not. So it was able to detect patterns more. Now AI has become, because of the excessive computing power that we have access to, because of something called transformers, which is a mathematical function equivalent. It's a very complex thing otherwise, but at the end, it's a mathematical function. And because of the idea of reinforcement learning, for those of you who are a little nerd, I'm dropping in these rare jargons every once in a while, but later on, we won't talk about any of these jargons. But if you really want to know what the hell really happened, three things happened. One, we got millions and millions of GPUs out there, which were affordable and made sense. Second, something called transformers as a framework, as a mathematical model came in. And third, you got reinforcement learning along with it combined. All three things happened and we got the perfect recipe. Of these, we always had some compute, we always had reinforcement learning to a certain level, but the transformers bit combined with it, all of that, the combination is new, which is where this interesting world has been created that we are now living in. So this was this is what led to generative AI. But what is generative AI? It lets you create patterns. Earlier, it was able to detect patterns, two very different things. To say that, hey, this is a cat and this is a dog is different from, hey, let me create a cat and let me create a dog. Make sense? Right? Earlier, to say in the sentence, the grammar seems off versus let me create a perfect grammar wala sentence for you. You see the difference between prediction or detection, rather, not prediction, detection of patterns versus generation of patterns. Now you can apply this logic to text, to data, to SQL, to code, to images, to videos, and so on. That is what makes generative AI so special. Does that make sense? Is this definition something that was new to you? Is that kind of understanding of generative AI compared to the older AI? Because it's not new. AI is not new. Is this something that has brought you a little bit more clarity on where we are? And then we're going to move ahead from here. A quick show of hand, maybe a thumbs up will help me kind of get feedback if we are on the same page. If I'm going a little too fast, please stop me. If I'm going a little too slow, please stop me again. And I'm happy to adjust my pace for everyone here. Thank you, Ghansham. Okay, yes, it has. Okay, Vishal. Perfect. Okay. Got it. So we are awake. Okay. So I'm going to get into the paradigm part, which is the third bit. But I want to showcase some of the tools. And we don't today, that's not the objective of today's webinar, to talk about every tool in detail. But if you don't know, please take a screenshot of this particular slide. These are the top AI tools out there. Okay. These are the tools which have made the biggest strides in generative AI space. They are the ones leading this entire revolution. And years from now, we will look back at these and read about them in history as the, OGs. Okay. So these are the most powerful. And since 2 days, I have actually been very excited as well as very fearful for the first time, actually second time. So I think about a lot of the things that are happening in the AI by the virtue of my interest and by the virtue of the work that I do now. And the first time I realized ChatGPT is so powerful, Midjourney is so powerful, which you guys have probably heard of already. So these are not new for you. But when I realized these are so powerful and the impact of it on humanity, on society, on work, on employment, the risks associated, they were actually causing a lot of excitement in a positive way and anxiety in a negative way, both. And I want to share this very, very honestly with you, that there is some anxiety we should all have. It is justified. However, the only way to mitigate anxiety is to educate ourselves and to say what can we do best with what has changed in the world. I am a firm believer of this ideology, that it's our duty to kind of observe the transformation and transform with it. And if we take this approach, that changes a lot of things, and then we get less fearful and we become more opportunistic in a nice way, right? So in text, oh, someone is hacking this and marking Roshan. I found that very cool though. I had no idea that this was enabled. Okay. So in text, so you've heard of ChatGPT. I think many people would not have heard of Anthropic Claude. The beauty of Anthropic Claude is that it is twice as capable in terms of the length of processing as ChatGPT. This is why I was preferring Anthropic Claude over ChatGPT. I pay for ChatGPT as well. I pay for Anthropic Claude as well. Both charge me $20 a month because I want to explore most of these tools and get into depth of it. So I pay for them. The new ones that I've released, Mixtral is something which is open source. In fact, a friend of mine works at Mixtral. He was literally, he grew up with me from the 10th standard. And I realized on LinkedIn that he works there. I'm like, wow, he's literally at the forefront. It was so exciting to see. So Mixtral is known for being the topmost performing open source model, almost at par with ChatGPT 4. Perplexity is a very special tool. They are not technically like a LLM like ChatGPT, but they are, and it's an Indian founder. One of the founders is Indian. I don't know about the other one. Um, they have made something which is a competitor of Google. They want to make the best research tool using generative AI. And if you are someone who's in a job where you need to do research of any kind, whether about statistics, facts, you want to collate data, you want to collate opinions from different sources, this and that. You want to scour the internet, find out what all is there. Perplexity is a fantastic tool, and they're evolving very fast. I recommend, please try this out. Images, Midjourney and DALL-E 3. Midjourney is an independent startup which has done a phenomenal job so far. DALL-E 3 is done by OpenAI, and it's again a great one. Stable Diffusion is an open source one, and some guy called Ahmad Mustaq runs this. This is open source, so a lot of people are building tools on top of this. You will see this profile picture maker. You will see turn your photo into some animated cartoon thing. All of that is happening on top of Stable Diffusion, by the way, because it's the cheapest. And hosting it, people host it on their local servers or cloud servers and then start doing it. But currently, image performance is best for Midjourney. Second is DALL-E 3, and third is Stable Diffusion broadly. Okay. Then Runway ML and HeyGen were the two big deals so far. And I will only open 2-3 links after I talk about all of these one by one. Runway ML and HeyGen. Runway was meant for text to video, typically, or video to video, where you can type a prompt and it will generate a video. While it was great because it was better than anything else we've had, day before yesterday, OpenAI released Sora. Has everyone heard about Sora, guys? Right? I want your honest reactions, because I'm still anxious about the fact that this is insanely good. It is so good, it is disturbing. Right? This is okay. So guys who haven't seen Sora, no, and those who have seen it, please be patient for 2 minutes. I want to spend a little bit of time on this. It's worth it because this has broken the internet. Human history has changed forever for the second time. Chat GPT ke baad, this is literally the biggest and probably in a way bigger than Chat GPT for me now, the jump that we've seen. So I'm going to open the OpenAI ka Sora wala tab here that I have got. 1 second. Okay, give me a minute. This is hanging a little bit. Laggy. See. Okay. So I actually just put up some stories on my Instagram, and I can't stop thinking about this, by the way. I'm a little obsessed since the last 2 days, and I have no shame in admitting that. Okay, so this is what this guy or this tool does. Okay, you can all see this. Yeah. Okay, so they've shown some prompts here. Okay, and in fact, wait, before we talk about this, let me show you what the best in class was. For those who haven't seen Sora, they should know, or Runway by chance, you should know what the previous benchmark was, and it was considered pretty impressive. And now this looks like kindergarten stuff. Okay, look at this. This is pretty decent, right? This was the best. Look at the movements. You will see there is some feeling of AI. This is the best one, by the way. When you try it, it doesn't turn out to be this impressive usually. And here you go. You can do this. It is a suite of multiple AI tools here. Very simple use cases. Look at the tires. They're not realistic. This is still decent, but that's about it. Okay. And I will in fact, they have shown you selectively the best ones. We make it, and I know that it's not as impressive as they've shown it. So we're going to talk about OpenAI Sora now. Now, this is 4K level video. It is, my internet seems to be a little slow, so that's why it's not loading fully. But look at this video. It's meant to be 4K. God knows why it's not working. Okay. Do you see this? Now notice the fine details. I want you to pay attention. Number one, the prompt is a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, long dress, and black boots. Okay. Simple prompt. And look at the camera movements. Number one, look at how well she's dressed. Number three, look at, and well, in terms of the prompt, we had given, it is following that very well. She is in Tokyo. The camera is panning and revealing more of the city from different angles. Now it's zoomed in. The way it happens in cinema, they sometimes zoom in on your face. Look at the reflections in her eye, the glasses. Look at the reflection in the water on the ground. It's so impeccable, right? It is disturbingly good. And Hollywood, right now, people in Hollywood, the studios, they are shitting bricks, I'm telling you. They are completely out of their wits. They are worried. They are panting. They're out of breath that their, superiority is going to be challenged. Look at this woolly mammoth. How perfect the hair strands are. The smoke of snow going up is, right? The physics of it is also pretty decent. ऐसा नहीं है कि randomly हो रहा है. Look at this again. A movie trailer featuring the adventures of 30-year-old spaceman. Look at this. Camera movements are shaky as if the cameraman is walking, because that's what was asked. Blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style. Insane. It almost feels like they're lying to us and they have uploaded false videos, right? And they have made the disclaimer that none of these have been edited in whatsoever way. It is unbelievable. So why this is beautiful. Like this, look at this close-up video of two pirate ships battling each other as they sail inside a cup of coffee. Literally, cup of coffee mein they're sailing a pirate ship. So this is going to lead to a world of boundless imagination available to everyone without a Hollywood studio access, without the Hollywood studio funds. So for the filmmakers, while it can seem from one perspective that their job is over, from the other perspective, all the filmmakers who did not have the resources and the studios and fancy degrees and this and that, who never got the opportunity, they never had a network. They were living in a small town in India and not in Silicon Valley and, Vegas of the world. They all can now suddenly start competing on a global stage. Does that make sense? So we'll move on from here. Look at this. And this is the final one. This kangaroo. That's all it says. A cartoon kangaroo disco dances. What more do you want from life? Okay. So cool. So this is there. Runway I've shown you. I don't want to talk about others. At ChatGPT, there are other similar ones. So we're going to, and I'm not going to cover Wonder Studios as much, but this is, maybe they have a small video. Wonder Studios is slightly different kind of a setup where it converts any regular video into CGI or VFX very quickly, very simply. And again, this is insane, very powerful, and they are being used by Hollywood already.
They say all great stories start with a sense of wonder. And what if bringing those stories to life wasn't limited by our resources, but only by our imagination? Welcome to Wonder Studio, where making movies with CGI is as simple as selecting your actor and assigning a character. The system uses AI to track the actor's performance across cuts and automatically animates, lights, and composes the CG character directly into the scene. Whether it's one shot or a full sequence, Wonder Studio analyzes and captures everything from body motion, lighting, compositing, camera motion, and it even tracks the actor's facial performance. All the artist needs is a camera.
Got it? So this is a very different one. And imagine now you can, I understand that most of you guys may not be filmmakers. That's not the point. The point is how exceptional the ability of AI has gone to. And these two, one like OpenAI Sora and Wonder Studio, are proof of that. By the way, we're going to talk about ChatGPT and the prompting framework at the end. So I'm not talking about that intentionally at this moment. This sounds good. So we've covered text, image, video, some of these. I hope you've taken a screenshot. And there are many more use cases which we have not covered, of course, but you can use it for coding, SQL querying, making 3D objects, 3D animations also. Robotics is obvious, right? And so many more things. I'm just not going to list them out all. Okay, here comes my favorite part, paradigm shift. And this is where I want you to really pay attention on the argument that I'm going to make. Okay, it's a very important way to look at this entire thing of AI, and it's very empowering. Okay, so while we had mentioned that AI was this, remember, it's a technology that enables machines to learn, to make decisions, and to perform tasks, just like humans. And this is where it gets a lot of us insecure as a whole, as a humanity as a whole, where agar ye hamara kaam kar lega, to hum kya karenge, right? And that is the question I want to address in this paradigm shift. And this definition I'm giving is meant to be non-technical, but it is meant to be highly useful. Okay, so I like to think of AI as this. It's not a machine. Don't think of it as that. It's not an algorithm either. Don't think of it as that. It's not a software. In some ways, it is some of, all of these in some context or the other, right? But I want to talk about a better way to think about AI. And this is how I define it. It's a very odd definition. Come with that mind frame that it's an odd definition. Think of AI. And in this context, I'm using AI as whether it wo text ke case mein hai, image ke case mein hai, video ke case mein hai, those are secondary. But AI is a group of 100, maybe 1,000, maybe a million close friends, because they're always available to you. They always respond to you. They always pick up your call. They always respond to your message immediately. So it's a group of close friends. And all of your close friends happen to be badasses. They are experts at different domains. So let's say I am an expert at, let's say, product management, right? Then the team at Sugarcane, Ravinder and Ankur, who are the founders, maybe let's say they are experts at coding, right? And then some of you here may be experts in writing and business, being a business analyst. The different set of skills that are involved in making something work, in doing something, it's what a specialization is. What AI does is it lets you have access for the first time ever to personalized access, personalized experts who are available to you 24/7. Before this, the world was different. Earlier, pre-internet, you had to go to a library to access information, correct? So there was a lot of gap of information. It wasn't available. Internet came in, everyone got democratic access to internet. Make sense? Then came you can think of it this way. After internet, your mobile came in. Then suddenly everyone got democratic access to all the services that, because smartphones became cheap, they were not bulky pieces of devices that you had to keep in your home. So smartphones became cheap. They had GPS trackers. They had so many more sensors and devices, and you could move along with a battery. All of that enabled computing with mobility. So suddenly it became possible to, let's say, do Uber and Ola. You could now avail better services. There could be better products and businesses that could be built every time technology had a bigger revolution, right? So that is how it was. Now, when internet came in, the big thing that changed was everyone had access to the same set of information, most of it, except when you had to paywall it. And now you could not be an information broker anymore. And all of us, we got lifted up in our knowledge, in our abilities to say that, okay, kuch bhi pata karna hai, quickly Google it out, and there it is. We have the answer. There it is. We have the answer. Our parents did not grow up in that time. And the rate of learning that they had is significantly slower than the rate of learning we had access to. Similarly, when AI is there, right now, only, if you go to hire an expert of writing, hire an expert of coding, hire an expert of consulting, you will need to pay typically anything between $100 to $1,000. It can be anything in that range, right? A good expert. For the first time, if AI has been trained on the knowledge of experts, you can now pay $20 a month, have access to current market value of $20,000 worth of consultation every month. So it has brought down all that expertise, which is customized for you. Unfortunately, internet doesn't customize information for you, right? That's why you had to set up a call with an expert or do emails with them and say, you know what, my business is facing this kind of a problem. Can you specifically help me with this? No blog can help you with this. No SEO, strategy will help you get suddenly organic traffic specific to your particular problem. Now AI is like that expert on demand. Imagine instead of talking to Chat GPT, right? The way we think of WhatsApp, we don't say I am talking to WhatsApp. We say I am talking to my friend using WhatsApp, correct? I want us to imagine we are talking to an expert via Chat GPT interface. If that was the case, how would we start using AI differently? Currently, most of us, and I want to know this again, by the way, quickly, can you drop in what is the most common use case of Chat GPT that you are using? I want to know that personally. For example, I know a lot of you would be using it for emails. Let's look at the use cases you guys are using so far. Quickly, ek baar dalte hain, and then I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. Personal batana hai, not general. Okay. So Shruti is saying to clear her concepts. Anurag is saying to get overview of any new idea. Fair enough. N has said solutions in exam. Pranay said different approach to code. Prabhakar is saying complex problems, which is where experts are usually needed. Coding mein kuch problem hai, you call up a senior. You don't call up a junior to say sikha de, right? That's the point. Shivam says, I use it all the time. Seems like for everything. Gaurish is saying PPT, exam answers, mails. Dhruv is saying SEO and idea creation for branding for 6 of his clients. Right? Prepare for interviews, research purpose, new idea, clear concepts to polish my English skills. Okay, got it. So a lot of research is happening, some degree of conceptual understanding is happening, learning is happening, right? If I show you the library of use cases that I use AI for, you'll know why I believe in this definition of experts. Right now, we kind of think of ChatGPT in a pseudo Google-ish way, where we like, I want this done. Can you do this? Correct? Please do this for me. Response आता है, we say, अच्छा response नहीं दिया, इससे अच्छा तो मैं ही लिख लेता हूँ. वो reaction आता है कभी कभार, right? सबका आता है कि come on man, it's too hyped. My email is so lame. It has these weird words unleashed and unraveled. बीच बीच में आ जाएगा. And it has language which nobody uses in everyday. Sometimes extreme corporate jargon, sometimes overhyped. It has a lot of inconsistency when we experience it day on day, right? Now, there are better ways of doing this. Imagine if you were to go on a call, and this is the paradigm that I say, ki what helps you use AI, the best mindset. It's a mindset first, then comes the skill. So the mindset is this: if there was an expert on the other side of the chat interface, let's say I was an expert in SEO, which I'm not, and you had an SEO problem, and it said, "They are meri website pe, I want to get traffic there," right? If you were to call me, I would say, dude, I will require $250 an hour. I will help you solve your problem. You'll have to explain to me your problem. You will patiently explain to me that problem for at least 15, 30, 45 minutes, correct? That, hey, I run this business and that is my goal, that I want to get more organic traffic from Google. But this is the problem we're facing in Google. People search these keywords, but I'm not sure if I can go get those keywords. I'm intentionally wording out these things so that I can imagine the conversation you would have with a real expert, correct? Now, if that expert said, hey, I don't take calls, I'm only available on chat, how would you explain your entire problem statement to the expert on chat? That way of explaining of who you are, what your business is, what your problem is in detail, specifically, right? What are the things you have tried so far? What is it not worked? What are the learnings so far? What are you confused about, right? What is complex about it? Maybe some concept is not clear. Maybe some tool is missing. right? And then the expert will say, "Arey yaar, why are you getting stuck, man? You know, why not do you download this tool or sign up for this SaaS tool, and it'll take care of these half of these problems. We are solving it too manually." Something like this expert would say, and then guide you towards it step by step. And but remember, you gave it a lot of context. You spent time on the problem statement. You spent time trying to clarify what you really want. Only then the expert is able to help you, correct? And this is the exact mindset with which you approach ChatGPT, which makes a lot of difference. So instead of saying, "Hey, make me an email saying I want to leave for Dasera or Diwali," you don't write that, because that is the most generic thing you can say. You talk differently, I talk differently, Dhruv talks differently, right? Shivam talks differently. And if we talk differently, we need to tell ChatGPT what is it, how is it that you talk? And that is where we often commit the mistake. We say, "Hey, talk in a positive tone. Hey, talk in simple language. Hey, don't use corporate words, or use more professional language." We use these words for style. And again, we go wrong, because we don't teach a child by saying, "Be more excited." We show them what excitement looks like. We show them what professional looks like, show them what simple language looks like. We speak it out and then say. And that is where you talk to ChatGPT as if there was an expert, and you gave that expert precise requirements that you have. "This is my tone. Here are some samples of how I talk, or how I write, or how I think. Here is exactly where my problem is." And all the time, energy you spend, only then can you then do anything significant with ChatGPT. And I think that is the mindset which you get evolved into. And then you stop thinking of it like an answering machine. You start thinking of it like a collaboration come consulting machine. Does that make sense? So these are the two keywords: collaboration and consulting. As soon as you think of it as that, you don't talk to it like that. "Hey, give me an email where you are asking for X." That's not how you talk to a human. It would be rude. Actually, it would be quite rude. And you don't want to be rude to AI. You don't know what will happen to you tomorrow, right? So, I don't want to paint the Terminator scenario here, but let's just not be rude to AI. I think that's a smart move to make. But in a more serious way, we need to all treat it like a real person who needs to know us more before they can give us a useful advice. नहीं तो हम जेनरिक इंटरनेट के ज्ञान वाली एडवाइस लेके आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा हमें. Sounds good? Shivam is like, "Don't scare beginner." Sorry, yaar. I am a little bit of a fan of dark humor, so I will keep dropping in some of these things, but I'm an optimist otherwise. Okay, so this is why I say, and this is a South Park reference. Unfortunately, nobody's watched it, but it's otherwise super cool to make this. These are all characters from this funny, lame ass cartoon, which has the most offensive things that they talk about. So this is the lead character, and you think of AI like this team of experts. At a time, you talk to a mentor in a certain way, your strategist in a certain way, marketer, copywriter, teacher, assistant, analyst, reviewer, developer. You can have to assign it a role and say, "Hey, be this person for me. This is your goal. But you know what? Here is the problem. Here is who I am." You need to make an introduction to your team every time. Right? Take a screenshot of this, by the way. This is again an important paradigm where think of it AI like a team who reports to you, or a set of close friends who are available anytime, whatever you want to call it. But these are all good at their job, by the way. If you really are good at explaining what you want and where the problem lies, let me tell you, ChatGPT will not disappoint you 80 to 90% of the time. It will definitely take you further. In some cases, it will blow your mind. In some cases, it will be like, "Okay, good to have. That's all a part of life." And this is where I ask you this question. Can we all agree that if, let's say, if you were born in, for example, I'm in Jaipur, and Jaipur is a tier 2 town. Tier 1.5 बोलना चाहता हूँ मैं usually, but Jaipur is a tier 1.52 town, and the opportunities that I've had growing up by default, or as an average kid in Jaipur, will always be different from an set of opportunities that a kid in Mumbai has, then a kid in Dubai has, then a kid in Silicon Valley has. Correct? So I want to take a simple example: Jaipur versus Silicon Valley. What are the odds that out of 1,000 kids in Jaipur who grow up, how many of them will be entrepreneurs versus how many in Silicon Valley will be entrepreneurs? Think of it. Right? Is it fair to say that it's 10x, maybe 50x the chances that they will aspire to be an entrepreneur there, right? Something like that, whatever the numbers are, right? So someone said 10 is to 100, absolutely, of that order. And if you think of it, why is that? Ankur is like 10x in Jaipur. There are more Marwadis in Jaipur. Good one, man. So I'm saying you have to acknowledge what makes Jaipur different from Silicon Valley, okay, which is San Francisco, Bay Area, whatever you want to call it. But what makes India different from US in general is that the access in within US also, by the way, a small town versus Silicon Valley, the difference is the same. In fact, Jaipur is probably better off than a lot of US towns in that sense. So the difference is this: when you have a lot of peers around you who are champions at their field, Silicon Valley tends to attract the brightest people who are the best at their field. They're PhDs, researchers, successful entrepreneurs, writers, authors, whatnot, right? They're making humanoids for fun. They're making vertical takeoff VTOLs, कहते हैं, battery powered drones that can carry 2 humans at a time. They're making flying cars. And what are we doing here? Laundry business करते हैं, चलो हमारा entrepreneurship का idea ही होता है, right? Which is okay, completely okay. I'm not saying that, but we can't think of complex things because we don't have access to that culture. What is culture? A bunch of people who really care about something, who are good at something, coming together and forming a common shared set of values. तो जयपुर और सिलिकॉन वैली में जो डिफरेंस है इज a lot of that is access to expert peer network. Am I right on this? Exactly. हमारी ड्रीम 11 बहुत कमजोर रहती है उनके कंपैरिजन में. Exactly. हम ड्रीम 11 पे जब टीम बनाते हैं ना तो हमारी कमजोर होती है, लाइक बांग्लादेश वर्सेस इंडिया हो जाता है, राइट? Guys, is it making sense that if each one of us had access to very smart, bright experts, people who could guide us everything, we would be definitely far more richer in our thinking, in our personality, in our opportunities, in the goals that we set, in the ambitions that we set, in the odds of success that we have. And that gap is primarily of success is multiple factors, but I'm highlighting the one very important one, which is the access to expertise. And because of AI, suddenly the access to expertise has been democratized. It has become 1,000 to 10,000 times cheaper to access high quality knowledge. In some cases, it will misguide you. Let's not get worried about it right now. But in most cases, you suddenly can ask complex questions, solve complex problems with AI. And today it's relatively at its primitive days. Imagine the place where ChatGPT will be. What will GPT-5 look like? Google Gemini has already launched. Oh, I forgot mentioning it. Gemini 1.5. Please, everyone spend some time to research Gemini 1.5 Pro. Insane. It is beaten ChatGPT 4 already 2 days ago. Okay. The moment they make it public and available for everyone, I think they've already made some part of it public, one lower version. Just switch to it. Forget ChatGPT 4 right now. अब वो पेड है, फ्री है, प्लीज वो देख लो, क्योंकि फ्री ट्रायल 2 months का दे रहे हैं, what I remember. Can you double check? Exactly, Dhruv, right? 2 months का, I remember that. I'm yet to kind of try it out fully. But Gemini 1.5 is an improvement, and we are talking about 1 year, almost 1 year of ChatGPT anniversary. Correct? What's the thumbs up for? I'm confused, Ankur. अच्छा, मेरा ऐसे एक्सीडेंटली वो बम फूट रहा है बैकग्राउंड में. So Google Gemini is there, so it's going to improve. Now, for the first time, a kid in some tier 4 town in India has the same level of intelligence and expertise ka access, at least in terms of knowledge, not in terms of, let's say, financial capital, but at least knowledge capital का तो difference नहीं होना चाहिए ना यार इंसान को. जैसे हम we say literacy should be a goal for every kid. They should all have education of a certain level. They should all have opportunities. I'm saying we should all have access to expertise now. We should raise our ambitions. We need to move beyond internet ke blogs. We need to move beyond YouTube, which is meant for 100,000 people at once and not for you. And that is the difference that I want to highlight. And I've taken a little bit of time on this. It's because of the importance I want to put on this. And this is the final example I give. And this is where I conclude the section of paradigm shift. So imagine what the future is like. If you want to really imagine what future looks like, this is a great analogy. Okay. Many thousands of years ago, we could only walk on foot, in which case we could only go 99% of human population practically has only gone max till the next village. Do you realize? Because they had no ways of traveling far distances, and if they wanted to, it would be very dangerous. Then came bicycles. We didn't say कि पड़ोसी के घर बाइक से बाइसिकल जाके आता हूँ, bike aa gayi and so on. We said, let me go to the next town faster, let me trade something else, let me buy there something from there and make myself richer a little bit, right? Maybe I found a book there which was useful. Then came cars and trains, and we didn't say कि पास वाले town सिर्फ जाके आते हैं, right? We said, you know what, now that I have better technology like cars and trains, I would like to go further. अब हम तीर्थ करने जा रहे हैं. पहले तीर्थ was like बुढ़ापे में ही करते थे because there were odds that you would never come back. So करो ही उस टाइम पे जब if you don't come back is not the biggest problem. This is literally the reason, by the way, तीर्थ क्यों बुढ़ापे में होता था. It was a practical reason. Okay. So you had cars and trains, you went further. You didn't go the same place faster. You didn't go the same place with more comfort कि हाँ सोफे पे बैठ के comfortable कार में जा रहे हैं. It's not the point. We said we want to go further. Then we had flights. We said, you know what, वेकेशन करने मॉलडीव्स जाते हैं, यूएस घूम के आते हैं, कॉन्फ्रेंस है सिंगापुर में, उसके लिए जा रहे हैं हम अब. Do you realize for one generation ago, 2 generations ago, if not one, 2 generations ago, going to Singapore for a conference would be a joke, right? Why are these balloons coming out, man? Anyway, so the fact that within 2 generations, 1 to 2 generations, things have dramatically changed. We are going further than ever, and we are doing more ambitious things than ever. The world has seen the most progress ever in terms of technology, in terms of financial uplifting of people, in terms of lesser people in poverty. All of that has happened because of the improvements in technology primarily, not because politicians suddenly became smarter, they started caring more about us. It's because technology improved and it became viable to provide better quality of life to people. Make sense? So this is what we do. Inherently, historically, we have evidence that every time we have new technology, humans go further. Humans go do better things. They go further. That is proof. Similarly, we've seen this pattern. Electricity aaya, computers aaya, internet aaya, right? Internet ke baad a lot of new opportunities opened up. E-commerce opened up for the first time. उससे पहले local market में जाना पड़ता था. There was a thing a little while ago that लोग अपनी शादी से पहले दिल्ली में shopping करके आते थे, right? That trend has reduced significantly. Of course, there are still some specialties about Delhi. या कोलकाता से साड़ी लेके आ रहे हैं. All of that is gone. Almost gone. It's on the decline. So it's because technology has enabled access to goods and services at your doorstep. So that's why you stop going out. Is that making us lazy? We're not going to get that into that philosophy right now. Okay. So when we had mobile, now we could book a cab. We could roam around with more safety. We could stay in touch with our loved ones without worrying about when are you coming. Simple as that. This assurance that someone gets. And then finally, we have AI. So every time there is a big jump in technology that has come, we have done bigger things. We have done better things. So the only question is, this future that we're entering, like any other future which was uncertain, historically, all future imagination has been uncertain. Historically, every time it has been full of anxiety. Everyone who's tried to imagine the future, जिसने इंटरनेट सोचा था, at that time there were a lot of people resisting it. They were like, हर कोई कुछ भी बोलेगा, तो ट्रूथ क्या होगा नहीं होगा पता ही नहीं चलेगा. But we are surviving. There are alternate sources of truth that have come up, and we can oftentimes cut propaganda. We are exposed to more propaganda, but we can also cut through it and find better sources of truth. We have choices. So AI, when it comes in, this is a personal question that I want to ask all of you guys. Now that we have such a powerful, immensely powerful tool available, will you do the same things with AI? Or will you do more and better things with AI? Is this a good question to ask? Instead of saying, will AI replace me? I think that's the worst question to ask. Right? Will you do the same things? Alok keh rahe hain ki yaar, films are dead. I'm like, no. If films have become 1000x cheaper to make of high quality, then I will start making films and I will fulfill my dreams. When I say I'm not a filmmaker, my friends are filmmakers. They've never gotten a break. They're being exploited by the film industry. Suddenly, because movies are becoming 1000x cheaper, they cannot be exploited anymore. The power equation is dissolving from the top. The people at the top, they're losing power, by the way. Interestingly, of course, some people are going to accumulate power, but more or less, people at the top, their power is being lost because it's cheaper to access high quality resources. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need a fancy lighting setup. You don't need a studio to hire. You don't need actors at times. And if you're an actor, you can act in ways you have never imagined before. You will do the most creative projects ever. There are very few Marvel movies that come out. There are very few movies like Dune that come out, Avatar that come out. My prediction is in the next 5 to 10 years, you will see 100x jump in movies like of the order of Avatar. Does that make sense? Is that causing job loss, or is that creating more projects and hence more opportunities? Each project will be smaller teams, but there will be more projects. Make sense? So this is the question. Please take a screenshot, write it for yourself whenever you feel a question about what AI is going to do. Whenever you're in an intellectual discussion with your friends, always ask this question. And it's a sincere question to ask. And that's it. And this is where, I prompt you guys to think, if AIs can do a lot of things that humans used to do earlier, then what will humans do? You have to start imagining that. And this is the role that I believe you will still play as a human in whatever endeavor you pick, whatever you care about. You need to have the vision, the empathy, the clarity, the determination to make it happen. AI doesn't have determination. The one using AI has to depict determination. Make sense? So these are the things which will be appreciated most in the coming world. Don't get stuck on one particular skill as much. I would say the mindset, the character, the ambition, all of those have become even more important now in this world. When building is not a constraint, imagination becomes a constraint. Awesome. So far, so good, guys. Are we feeling, I genuinely want to know, by the way, are these things, despite all the uncertainty that we have in the world, is this making you feel more positive, oriented towards a more optimistic way to look at things? Feeling positive? Anyone who's like, nah, not convinced, man, I'm okay taking a negative criticism and say that, it's, if you think this is, I would love to get, discuss this sometime separately also, because I really believe this. I sincerely believe this, that we are going to enter the most ridiculously interesting times. Okay. And we must transform ourselves. We must prepare for it. That's our job. We have to change with the times. That we cannot skip. Right? Ketan is saying how to sell products is the confusion. Ketan, that's a big question to answer. But how to sell products is the confusion is a very valid question to ask. Building has become easier. So hence, many people will have a lot to offer and suddenly they will have competition. That is going to be the truth of the world. It is going to be more difficult. And that is why सबके पास same tools होंगे तुम्हारे जैसे, right? सबके पास तुम्हारे जैसे low budget वाली possibilities होंगी, लेकिन सबके पास क्या नहीं होगा? Are you more creative at something? Are you able to empathize with the end user so much better that your product inherently becomes superior? Magic नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ पे. You still have to guide things. Are you inherently clear about the ways things sell? Do you understand human psychology deep enough? Do you understand philosophy deep enough? All of these things will suddenly start mattering so much more than the usual hard skills. कि Excel पे filter लगाना आता है क्या तुम्हें? That the value of that is going to go down. Hard skills. The value of your character, your mindset, your soft skills, all of that is going to go up. So let's not forget that. Your ability to imagine across fields. If you understand biology, neural science, electrical engineering, and computer science, suddenly you can be hired by Elon Musk. Who knows? Example. Or you can launch a competitor to Elon Musk, saying, I will make the next Neuralink. Don't you realize that Neuralink and SpaceX and Tesla are such complex projects? And there are so much more complex projects that deserve attention, and they always die a death too early because they're too complex and too expensive and hard for a lot of people. Maybe we'll find genius solutions to climate change. Maybe we'll find, and we are finding, by the way, it's not like maybe nahi bol raha hu. We are already finding better solutions to climate change. We are already finding better solutions and cures for diseases. We are able to detect cancers early on. All the villagers who couldn't afford a radiologist and MRI, because of AI, there are now AI softwares which are helping diagnose cancers much earlier. So it's saving lives literally as we speak. It's making cars safer. It's saving millions of lives already. It's on the path to saving millions of lives. So the question is, what problem is important? Who do you empathize with? What do you care about? What are your strengths? What do you have immense clarity on your own vision on how the approach should be? These things will matter. Zabi is saying, is creativity the only differentiator? No, Zabi, I told you about all the things that will be differentiator. Creativity is one aspect. Of course, creativity will matter. You will get assistance in creativity from AI. Absolutely. You will be able to imagine a scene from a picture sooner. You will be able to imagine a music that you have in head and create it sooner, faster, easier. You don't have to be a super pro sound engineer and composer for it. That's the difference. Because expertise has become democratized. Making sense? Amazing. Finally, we are going to enter something more hard skill oriented. I know that all of us like to take away something which is super solid. And again, pull out your screenshots, write down your notes, this point again here. And prompt engineering is going to be the fundamental skill. Sometimes people say prompt engineering bhi thoda time mein nahi rahegi. I had a debate with someone. I'm like, listen, as long as humans need to communicate in language, and as long as, either we learn how to communicate in ones and zeros, which will never be, as long as we know precisely only if we know precisely what we want, will AI ever know what to make. So this gap between what we want and transferring and articulating it to AI of what to make, is gap ko fill karne ki jo skill hai na, that is prompt engineering. Does that make sense? So there is no magic. And I mean, the only way to skip prompt engineering is a mind reading AI. Then maybe you can skip prompt engineering. Maybe it becomes realistic, but it's a little difficult. Let's just put it this way. There is a lot of progress, by the way, on this front as well, but it's not as good. They can read your brain now, and if whatever song you're imagining, it can play on the speaker. It is a little disturbing. So you have to check out. I will share that research separately, maybe with you guys out after the call. But these are the three. There's a pyramid of prompt engineering that I talk about, right? Do you have clarity? This is the base of the pyramid. Do you have clarity of what you want? What's the problem? Who's the problem being solved for? What is the goal you're seeking, right? That clarity of your thought, which comes from your experience, your abilities of thinking, right? Your creativity and your ability to be still with your thoughts and say, can I not get lost in my thoughts all the time and have extreme clarity? Maybe you start meditating because of AI making everything easier. You're like, oh, the last frontier is my mind. So philosophy bol raha hu yahan pe thodi bahut, but the last frontier will be mind. So clarity, do you have clarity? Only then can you move to the next stage of prompt engineering, which is articulation. Can you articulate your clarity in a certain style, in a certain phrase, in a certain way? Can you frame sentences and paragraphs in a way? Can you have a structure which makes sense for the LLM, right? For humans as well as LLMs. Can you articulate it in that way, right? And then this articulation is the prompt engineering ka core bit here, in as described. And then finally, and this is the part most people skip. So everyone knows about the second part of prompt engineering. 1 and 3 is what people miss. That is a step before and there's a step after. So do you have tremendous clarity? Can you articulate it well? And then finally, do you have the rigor, the patience to work alongside AI, to brainstorm with it, the way you do midnight philosophical chats with your friends and say, challenge each other on ideas and build ideas together, or sometimes debate on it. Ye sahi hai, galat hai, aise karna chahiye, waise karna chahiye. The debates that you have with your friends, I want you to start having debates like those with your AI. That debate bol lo, brainstorming bol lo, discussion bol lo. I'm calling that iterations. Talk to it more. You don't like the idea, nudge it in a different direction. You don't like it still, give it more feedback. Align it more with you. Teach it to think more like you. Give it feedback. And that is what iterations is. Only then, 1, 2, and 3 jab ho jayenge, only then can you ever accomplish something with AI for something that matters, not something trivial. Trivial mein kar lo, move on, nobody cares. If something matters to you, you must put in even more effort on 1, 2, and 3 all. Doesn't matter, nobody cares, right? Does this make sense? Guys, ye prompting ka 1 and 3 step is new for us, of understanding it this way, of tremendous clarity and having the patience and rigor for iterations. I will show you an example of my patience and rigor with AI very soon. I'll show you that. Quickly, jab tak mujhe thumbs up dikha do, I'm going to open that, some example there. Guys, thumbs up if this prompt engineering ka pyramid is something that you're going to be more mindful of. And now we're going to make them tangible. This is the last slide that we have. But before that, I'll just show you one way of how I have actually interacted with my bots. Wonderful. I've gotten a bunch of thumbs up. Thank you, guys. I know that you're listening. And in the next 5 minutes, we will wrap it up with a tangible example and a precise framework. Truly worth, this is the truly worth taking screenshot of material. Please take it. This is a framework I have created, and you know, you don't need to look anywhere else for prompting, honestly, beyond this. And please use it in your Promptathon 1.0, win at it, fight to, you know, fight really hard to write the best prompts ever and solve complex problems. This is the framework that lets you do that. So I'm going to show you one example here. So this tool is called po.com. It's something that makes it simpler for me to create bots on the go. This is something I've been using before ChatGPT Store. Ab GPT Store aa gaya, so it's kind of become redundant. I might stop paying for it, but it lets me integrate all kinds of models, not just ChatGPT, but it lets me integrate, you know, Anthropic Claude and Google Gemini and Mistral and so on. That's why I like it. I can compare models quickly from one interface. I don't need to pay $20 to everyone. So if you want to play for one tool, it has to be po.com, by the way, guys, because then you have the best of everything in the world for one price. So I'm going to show you how I have used it. $20, Ketan. It costs $20. Kahan gaya mera? I'm just trying to look for it. Okay, let's do one thing. So this is the first bot that I had made. Okay, first complex bot I had made. Simpler ones तो बहुत सारे भी हैं जिनका काम है छोटा छोटा से headline बनाना, email का वगैरह. I have brilliant headline makers. A lot of this is automated. Simple content writing is all automated, which I post there. The complex ones I write personally because AI cannot do that very well today. So let me show you. So how it works is you give an initial prompt instruction. So there's a friend of mine who runs a big, very ambitious company, and they're in their early stages. And this is literally what they do. A new chain of small size movie theaters that will be opened in the small towns of India. Okay, so 28 to 42 seater theaters, and they open it across small villages also. So that, and figured out a viable business model in a very creative way. They have a lot of money to fund this operation. So that's happening. I was consulting them for their strategy. And I said, you know what? I don't have this much time right now. What I'll do is I'll make a bot for you. Usse sawal jawab kar lena. It will think like me. Okay. So this is the length of my prompt, by the way. Usually, what does your prompt length look like? 1 line, 2 line, 4 line, 6 lines. How many people have crossed 6 lines of prompt here? Honestly, bata do. 6 lines of prompt se kitne logon ne kara? Okay. I'm sure some of you have. Right? Even those of you who have exceeded, wow, Aryan is like, he does 20 lines. I am impressed, guys. So I don't start writing until I know I will be able to write at least 1 to 2 pages of my prompt. Okay. It's like the length is a measure of rigor, nothing else. It is not a measure of quality. It is a measure of rigor, of how much effort you're putting in to explain to them. So Prabhakar said copy paste length hai to dekho, if you're pasting an article, that doesn't count in the prompt, no. So I'm not talking about that. It's about the instructions. So these are the instructions I've given it. Like, you're a founder of I'm the founder of cinemas, and this is the role I'm giving you. You're a 3-time successful entrepreneur, and you will see the framework that I'm using here and I've codified it in that slide. You will diligently answer. Look at how I'm talking to it. Very particular. You will diligently answer my questions to help with strategy, roadmap, innovative thinking, and execution plan. You will answer everything in a highly structured, comprehensive manner, structured as sections, bullets, and even tables if necessary. Make sense? Look at the kind of instructions. It's like, I don't want you to answer my things. I want you to think hard, structure it, make it into sections, bullets, tables. Don't just start replying like a noob. Okay, it's like me telling it that. Like a grumpy senior manager saying कि तुम ये कैसे बनाते हो. So this is the response format for every question or problem statement I ask. First, you're going to take the question and break it into small components and factors. You will talk about the audience bit more and go in deep. You will share examples of other people who solved similar problems from your database. बताओ Google ने क्या पता solve कर रखी हो, मैं फालतू time waste कर रहा हूँ. Airbnb में someone has done that creative job. Map the journey of the affected individuals. This is meant to be complex. Don't need to process everything here, by the way. I'm just giving you a sense of how detailed and rigorous it can get. And share the exact steps I must take, what assets I must create, what visuals, what instructions. Then I told it, this is my target audience and their problem. Remember, I was telling you, talk to it like an expert. Tell it that we are making this for lower middle class income ranges, for small towns of this size. These families are traditional, conservative, and religious, man. Right? They don't have nearby access. Families are usually scared and skeptical about the safety of women. I've given this level of detail for my business model. I told it about the solution details, high standards of safety, कितना बड़ा स्क्रीन, क्या सराउंड सेटअप, बिजनेस मॉडल में लिखा है कितनी टिकट लेंगे, कितने घंटे की होगी, जो हमें पता है, हमने सब दे दिया उसको पहले, right? And so on. I interacted with it. So there's a lot of detail I've given it after, and I updated the prompt after doing interactions with it. And then look at this last chat, just to get you a sense of. It seems my older chats are deleted, but I interacted with for a very long set. Okay, and this is what it looks like long answers, but everything is super structured. See, section and bullets and describing properly. The quality is richer than ever you would have seen by default. And this is all, by the way, you're seeing at the final stage. I have broken my skull on this so many times to try and get it to produce high quality, because every time, this is a hack, by the way, every time you think AI is not giving you good output, blame yourself. Okay? If you blame yourself saying, यार मैंने इतना अच्छा prompt नहीं दिया होगा, मैंने इसको context नहीं दिया होगा, मैंने इसको अच्छे examples नहीं दिए होंगे, मैंने इसको ढंग से guide नहीं किया यार, क्या गड़बड़ कर रहा हूं मैं, right? Do you see this mindset? It's not to feel terrible about yourself. It's about saying AI is not the thinker here. I am the thinker. It feels like AI is the thinker at times. It feels like it is pretty much like an obedient little intelligent child. But it's child at the end of the day. So that's about it, right? Ketan is saying, is this written by the bot? No, it's not written by the bot. मेरे previous interactions पता नहीं क्यों नहीं दिख रहे हैं. See all chats with this bot. Let me see. Oh, मिल गया ना ये रहा. September 30, 2023 is when I had it first. The chat with it. It's literally an old one. अब तो update भी नहीं किया है. So business model. Let me show you. Okay. So I asked it, can you help me make a franchising model? इसके लिए. We want to grow to 20,000 theaters in 5 years. How does that happen? Look at the length of my interaction with it, by the way. I'm scrolling so fast. So look at this. Make me a marketing campaign with a lot of exact detail. Yeah, I just have fun with it. Okay, this is to push it. Look at the precise things that it's giving me now. ये assets है, ये messages हैं, ये print ads हैं, ये radio campaign है. Beautiful ideas. Honestly, beautiful ideas. A lot of these are very intelligent ideas, and some of them are regular ideas, but at least it served as a checklist. I don't forget anything. Then I told it some more, and then more. Look at the interactions. Then I said further feedback. This is me iterating. So I want you to take away the rigor of interacting with it, saying how do you talk to it in that rigor. Craft the exact step-by-step detailed SOP for theater staff. तो एसओपी बनवा रहा हूं मैं इससे। अब स्टाफ मेंबर की जर्नी आने लग गई, एग्जैक्ट स्टेप्स आ गए, क्रिएट एसओपीज फॉर दिस फॉर दैट। इट्स टेलिंग मी एवरीथिंग मैन, एवरीथिंग। सो आई एम इंटरेक्टिंग विद इट। सी अब मेरे प्रॉम्प्ट्स छोटे हो गए हैं, क्यों? बिकॉज द ओरिजिनल प्रॉम्प्ट गिव इनफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट। नाउ आई डोंट नीड टू टॉक इन लेंथ एवरी टाइम। मेक सेंस? सी दिस इज अ लेंथ। इट हैज मेड हिंदी में पूरा, it wrote a complete script for tutorial of how to teach my staff about the features now. So literally the company can be run in terms of strategy, at least not run in terms of operations today, but very soon in the operations as well. So you have to start, all of you who are creative people here need to start thinking what is your dream that you would like to fulfill through AI. Okay, and then you will realize AI is an empowering thing rather than just a tool for getting another job only. So eventually you want to start thinking more creatively. So it's a lot of discussion. See, done. So does this look good? Do you guys get a sense of the rigor? Do you think you'll interact more with greater, deeper articulation, greater clarity, and most importantly the rigor for discussion, collaboration, brainstorming, debate, whatever you want to call it, iterations? Can we all have a thumbs up if that's what you're going to practice from now onwards? Quickly, and then we're going to cover the last slide, and maybe we'll all get some nice dinner, hopefully. Okay, awesome. Guys, thank you. So there you go. Screenshot moment. एक screenshot ये लेना है, and एक screenshot इसके अगले वाला. 1 second. I'm making it full screen. So these are the levels of prompting here. So level 1, level 2, level 3, where easy or rather low stake to high stake बोलता हूँ मैं, easy to hard नहीं बोलता हूँ इसे. It's like if you want simple things, do at least level 1. If you want to do complex things, level 3 से नीचे कर रहे हो तो time pass कर रहे हो. You're wasting time. Make sense? I want to be very specific about my, opinion on this. Ki yaar, don't waste your time on something important. Always hit level 3. Some of these things are pretty obvious, by the way, so I'm not going to spend time explaining every word here. Khichdi hai dinner mein. What is happening? Nitin to serious ho gaya bhai. So level 1 is where you give it some context, uska role, what action it needs to perform, which audience are you asking it for, what goal do you want to achieve out of this interaction. It's like the action can be SEO improve karo, but the goal can be organic traffic improve karo. Make sense? The action can be ये मुझे math में ये concept समझाओ. The goal can be help me improve my math score. Make sense? Similarly, level 2 is now you're getting more personalized, further personalized on level 2. This is how I talk, let's say. So I will do a transcript of this particular recording and put it in and upload it and say, this is what I sound like. Abhi mere ko agle webinar ka script de do na yaar. You see, example. I do this all the time, by the way. I take my previous LinkedIn posts, I take my previous YouTube and Instagram scripts, right? And I put that transcript in as input to say ki this is what my way of speaking is. I don't use the word unleashed and unraveled and crazy and all of these weird words we don't use. I want to use simple English and I'm comfortable with that. So wo examples deta hu usko. That is where example comes in. Format is critical. Sections and bullets is a simple format. Tables is another format, right? Another format can be give me 3 levels of indentation. Step, sub-step, sub-sub-step. I talk it to it like this कि मेरे को further break down the second layer, break down the third layer, तो वो fourth layer पे काम करने लग जाता है. जैसे Microsoft Word में होता है ना, we press tab and keep indenting and keep breaking down everything. That's how I talk to it. And oh, by the way, another hack, I missed writing it down here, but I'm going to type out the super power hack. By the way, this is honestly एक चीज तो चुरा ही लो, एकदम कॉपी पेस्ट करने वाले लेवल का है, दिमाग भी नहीं लगाना उसमें. I love and hate this giving this hack because I love because it's super cool. I hate because then you don't spend as much time thinking. So the hack is this. Please ask me. I'm just typing in the chat box, okay? 5 questions that will let you help me better. Okay. Got this? Whatever your prompt is, this is a generic thing you can copy paste, where now AI gets in the shoes of the thinker. And it says, you know what, in order for me to serve you best, I will ask you 5 questions. Who is your target audience? What is your budget? Let's say, what have you marketed till date so far? What has your previous year's math score been? Which area of math have you struggled with most? It will start asking you questions. तो हर बार उसी से बोलो, you know, get me, help me with this, and then ask me questions. And then you reply to these answers and then say, ask me more questions, depending on your patience and rigor. So trust me, this is a superpower. Please don't take it lightly. Like, हेलो, काफी शोर हो रहा है क्या? हमारे कोई होस्ट यहाँ पे? Okay. Guys, is this clarification wala making sense? उसी को सोचने का भी काम दे दो. मतलब this is laziness, honestly. So I hate it for that. It is a little lazy, but it works. ठीक. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? हाँ. So got it. And level 3 is what I was talking about, rigor. Ask it to give its reasoning. Ki, why do you think you're giving me these suggestions, man? What makes you think that this idea is better? What makes you think that this is not a terrible idea? Justify it to me, right? You challenge it. You critique it, saying, come on, what the ideas you've given are all very expensive. I don't have that kind of money, man. Can you be more frugal? Can you give me ideas which can be done under 100 rupees? Then AI will come up with other ideas. This is your creativity in that sense of, can you critique it? And then finally repeat and refine, right? That is what the thing is. So I've kind of explained each of these here. Final screenshot moment. And then we can have a couple of Q&As because we are kind of 10 minutes over time. This is the final screenshot of how these come into action. And look at this clarification. Hey, Rana, mera question. I was looking for this clarification. Ask me 5 or 10 questions that will help you craft a high quality and specific response. Ketan sounds like Brahmastra. It is. You got me the right word. I'm going to start using it. Can I start using it? Can I steal your idea? Calling it Brahmastra. Or, I mean, what does this sound like? You know, to sound cool, is daddy of all prompts good? Daddy of all prompts kaisa lag raha hai, guys? And I want to really patent this. Unfortunately, nobody lets us patent these things. King of all prompts is nice. It's not cool enough. Daddy of all prompts karne ka man hai mera. A lot of papa of prompts. Prompt का बाप. कितने मजे आ रहे हैं. सबका सडनली एक्टिविटी बढ़ गई है यहाँ पे, है ना? सीरियस बातें कर रहे हैं तब तक तो ऐसे अंगूठा देने में बहुत मेहनत लग रही थी. Prompt का बाप is best. Dhruv is like, just ask ChatGPT. I found कि ना जब क्वर्की चीजें करनी होती है ना, तो ChatGPT बेचारा थोड़ा कमजोर पड़ जाता है. It's not the best at that. But I've also found some ways to deal with it. Those are different things. सबने कर लिया क्या? छाप लिया क्या? मतलब प्लीज है ना, ये अगर पसंद आ गया है ना तो मुझे छोटा मोटा क्रेडिट देना. कोई पेटेंट तो करने मिलेगा नहीं मुझे सबको करने में. 2-4 शुरू का लेवल 1 में यानी इंडिविजुअली 1-2-4 पीसेस तो मैं मिल जाएंगे इधर उधर. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि it's not something genius, but the fact that you list out everything in comprehensive way, break it down to levels, think of it as an incremental ladder, and then give you the ladder and break the ladder myself by giving you this 5-10 question wala hack, right? And I've even written in level 2 is to enhance the response quality 5x. Without examples, you will never get high quality content. Let me tell you, whenever you're getting it to write content without example, you will always have generic useless content coming out every time. Give it the tone you talk in, and then it will give you 3 examples de do, at least 5 examples de do of how you talk, and it will do a good job. And I didn't have the time to show you those bots, but that's how it is. So well, there you go. I'm if you like this particular webinar, I would love if you guys check out our newsletter. Also check out our LinkedIn. We do a lot of these engagement activities and so on. I am always there to answer any questions, right? And the Sugarcane team and us, we are going to do more activities together on the Promptathon front, on other kinds of hackathons and so on. So there it is. I hope this was useful, and if it was, so I usually like to get a little bit of a fire emoji yaar. अच्छा लगेगा. Ketan is like, government will hire you to take big disc classes for school students. सरकार हायर यार, मोदी को सिखाने में तो मजा आएगा. इमेजिन देश के डिसीजंस GPT-4 पे लिए जा रहे हैं. That would be an accomplishment. But anyway, so thank you so much, guys. फायर जैसे 4-5 ही आ रहे हैं, 7 ही आए हैं अभी तक, सिर्फ 8 ही आए हैं, सिर्फ 11 ही आए हैं अभी तक तो. ओके, ये बात प्रथम. थैंक यू सो मच गाइस. शिवम इज लाइक, मोदी जी गाने बताओगे? ब्रो, आर यू हैकिंग मी? वी आर एक्चुअली making a song with Modi ji's voice. Of course, we don't call him Narendra Modi. Secret, it's called Gajendra Modi. वो यहाँ political discussion नहीं कर रहा है. It's okay to play a little bit of prank here and there. And there is a real person called Gajendra Modi somewhere, I'm sure. Awesome. Chalo, thank you so much. And Sugarcane team, Ankur, Dhruv, you, Rahul, or you guys want to take up from here?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Thank you, Nivedan. Thank you for like very amazing session. I think everyone has learned a lot today. Any 2 minutes you have for any last 2 questions we can take, or
Happy to take 2 questions. That's it.
cool.
Because someone is
Yes,
waiting
sir.
on me. Someone's waiting on me.
Just
So इसलिए
one
मैं
thing to add, I'm sure all of us took all the screenshots along the way. And I request all of you to please connect with Nivedan sir on all social media platforms. He creates amazing content. So please do. And thank you so much, sir, for the valuable insights. Now, everyone, you can just raise your hands and we'll just unmute. Okay, so we have a question on the chat. Okay, so sir, Akshay is asking, what can we have the negatives of AI?
Oh, absolutely. I like to tell people the complete truth, ideally. Since this OpenAI Sora has released, I'm excited as well as worried. I started our session with this. It's so good, you can't help feel a little scared also. See, honestly, that's a fact. We are human and we do feel a little scared once in a while. But more importantly, let's actually, the only way to deal with risks and fears is to educate ourselves with the reality of it, right? So a classic example I give is, if there was a time when humans did not understand fire and they were afraid of it, correct? Whatever you don't understand, you're afraid. But then we found ways to tame fire, and now fire is a great source of cooking, energy, in whatever different ways. चाहे वो coal के through हो, चाहे वो little आग हो, for burning of plastic, which I don't know why people still do it. So point is, when we learned more about fire's nature, we could tame it, and then we stopped being afraid of it. Now we just turn on the gas stove like this, never realizing that it was a big deal once to have a gas cylinder at home and be able to harness this energy in that way. Similarly, AI has definite risks. In the wrong hands, it will have some risks, and those risks are more of the side of misinformation and sometimes people hurting each other's reputation. That is a potential risk. And usually, the bigger the stakes are, the more is the incentive for people to do bad things. So there is one particular risk that some countries, some leaders may use AI to create personalized propaganda, which they already tried to do that. And they might want to spread targeted misinformation. They might want to rig the election that way. This is one clear risk of AI being deployed immediately from every election from last year onwards. Okay, there is a risk to deal with it. So fake news is there, and all of this is the where that culminates. Second is, there could be, and I'll tell you, this is a fact, and because this discussion happens every time, so I don't want to take it very lightly. There will be risk to some of the job profiles. They will be at risk. For example, customer support, they are going to have a major layoff. They are already having a layoff. You have major layoff. That's a fact, right? And it's sad to see a lot of people being at the, taking front of it, or taking a beating because of it. So there will be some sectors which will definitely see that. Some sectors will see a boom also. For example, I told you about filmmaking. Filmmaking, I am bullish. If you're a creative person, as an artist, your dreams, which were hard to fulfill until now, this world is changed. It's for being an artist in this world is going to be one of the most beautiful things ever. And this is contrarian thinking to what people say कि mid journey भी बना था image तो, या open AI ने भी बना दिया है picture तो. But filmmaker इस वाले world में especially, it's a complex for art form. वहां पे opportunities are going to explode 1000x because it's going to become cheaper 1000x. Now with 1 crore in your pocket, you can make movies which earlier used to cost 200 crores in budget. And that will open up doors to so many things. Simple question. If laptops costed 10 lakh, many of us would not have the laptop here, right? And we would have lesser access to the amazing things that world has to offer through internet. Make sense? So that's about it. And always remember, AI will not do bad things. The same way guns don't do bad things. So there's a saying, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Similarly, AI will not harm humans. Bad people try manipulating or using AI to do bad things will hurt people. So let's maintain that nuance. I think that gives us a slightly bit more mature view of the risks here. Does that help? Cool. So guys, if this risk wala cheese helps, put in the chat as well. Then we've got some more hands. One question, and maybe I'll see if I can take a third question, but then that's about it.
Aryan, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Aryan. Tell me, please.
First of all, thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful experience of this webinar. Also, I would like the question that I would like to ask is, don't you think this AI is starting, it's like addicting us to it? Like I have an Oxford dictionary in front of me right there. And from the very day that I have started doing this Promptathon and all those things, I have stopped using these books. And from now onwards, I don't even read editorials. I just copy them and go to the AI and say to summarize it. Even I have stopped using Google Chrome and I have shifted to Microsoft Edge because it has a co-pilot there to help me out with this AI. So don't you think it's trying to actually making us addict towards it? Also, if you have seen that Detroit Become Human by the game, it released quite a few time back. Also, in that game, it perfectly portrayed how in future we can actually become addicted to and downfall of things.
Got it.
So
I
what
got
are
a
your
question.
thoughts for it?
I got a question. Your concern is we will become lazier, we will become less rigorous, we will become less serious, all of that because things are available like that, right?
Exactly. Like today, entrepreneur, they actually research upon things and they actually try to confront a problem.
I'll
But
tell
with
you
AI,
this.
it would be,
No, fair enough. I got it. I'll make it simpler for you. Will some people misuse it and underuse or use it in a way that doesn't help them in the long term? Definitely yes, right? That will always happen. That happens with every technology. We've got internet right now. We don't need to wait for AI. We still waste our time scrolling reels, right? We still waste our time watching random YouTube videos and God knows what incognito. So point is that are these things necessarily making us dumber? Are they necessarily making us less disciplined? It is possible. They can make you weaker in that sense, right? In a loose way, I'm using the word weaker. So, and sometimes we say, "Hamare dada ke time pe they were strong." How basically it works is this general notion is right. If you have more hardships, then your character, I mean, the strength of your character is better, and you're stronger. But also think of it this way that we today live in a time when we have benefited from the biggest like the biggest developments in technology, whether it be from Einstein, whether it from all the scientists who've contributed, all the I'm specifically talking about technology and science here, but all the people who have made their contributions to make our world a better place. The same argument has been used for, let's say, mobile. But I don't like, if you're using mobile for scrolling reels all day long, then you are the one, kind of responsible for using it in a bad way. Can you be mindful about using it in a way that only benefits you? That's a personal quest. We already live in a world where distractions are so much. We already live in a world where we are all addicted to social media, right? And it is proven scientifically, by the way, it's conclusive in clinical trials and research that social media is an epidemic. It causes problems with human social interaction, psychological experiences at a mass scale. But we still, but for those who had unable to, manage in front of it, and I'm sure we, like all of us, do scroll some bit, at least some more, some less. So that problem will remain. That's a problem of humanity in general. Progress, whenever progress happens, there is always another flip side to it. But there is another thing that you must remember, that there is a lot of good that also comes. And it's a question of what we want to focus on as individuals, rather than worrying about society at large at first. First, let's think about the individual as a unit and then come to society. So, do you realize, if you were to take this smartphone and if you had a time travel machine and you could go back 300 years and you went and gave to the Maharaja of Jaipur, Agra, Delhi and said, hey, I've got a device with which you can call anywhere. आप अपने मिलिट्री से कभी भी बात कर सकते हो, मैसेज पहुंचा सकते हो. You can WhatsApp your wife, she can DM you your, your girlfriends, whatever, but they had multiple wives. And they will send you a photograph every time you want. If you made this proposal and they saw it working, how much money do you think they could give you? Think. Any yes? तुमने मान लो ये 50,000 का फोन लिया है. तुम्हें लगता है तुम उस राजा से 50 लाख रुपए तक का पैसा ले सकते हो शायद? थिंक ऑफ इट. मे बी 50 करोड़ भी दे देगा अगर बहुत अजीब राजा है. द फैक्ट दैट ही कैन कॉल अप एनीवन एनी टाइम, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. Someone saying it's muted. Am I audible? Okay. So it's to say that we are living in a tremendously, we should be grateful of all the things we have today. Yes, there are downsides. Yes, there are risks. If there is fire, some homes can get burnt. Does that mean fire is bad? Does that mean we should avoid fire completely? Right? It's the same question. Smartphones have made us dumber if we use smartphones a certain way. But if we use it another way, it actually makes us smarter. We have access to more information. We are becoming better decision makers. We are becoming more aware of our biases because we are studying psychology in reels at times. Weirdly, there are benefits also, right? So that's all I'm going to say, that we have to look at both sides and see which side we want to choose, number one. And if we are in a position to influence other people's decision making, if you're the prime minister or president of the country, you want to set a benchmark for the rest of the country and the world, saying, hey, you know what? A good citizen spends not more than 15 minutes on the reel. Example, China has actually banned gaming for kids after 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, by the way. And however tricky, it feels like a freedom ke upar war. It's probably a good decision to not allow them to play video games all day long, all night long. So small perspective here. There is no one right answer ki it's always good or always bad. We have to be mature enough to acknowledge the fact that nothing comes as completely positive ever. So that's about it. And how much time should I spend as an aspirant on reels? 0, bro. You're an aspirant. Exam ki tayari karo. Put your head down. Buy a Nokia 1100 and live with it. Stop doing WhatsApp. No, I'm not going to give you a lecture. Just make sure you study hard and score well. Nothing else matters. Many people do crack it with the reels. More important is that your scorecard in progress should tell you. And AI will not help you beyond concept clarity and maybe some practice. So that reiterates my fact about your own character. When I say character, not like morality wala character, but what is the strength of your character in terms of what is your discipline? What are your fundamental soft skills? Do you have patience? Do you have empathy? Do you have clarity? All of those things will matter more and more and more with time. So I think the best hack in this world is to be a better human. बाकी तो Promptathon में बढ़िया prompt लिखना ही चाहिए. So that's about it, guys. I think we should, conclude this session. I think the Sugarcane team has some, pointers to also share. I hope we can, you guys participate a lot, create kick-ass sugar cubes, make it all sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Nivedan. I think rest of the questions we can take later. Thank you for your time, Nivedan, and it's a very wonderful session. I think everyone enjoyed it. We'll probably send you a feedback link, so and any questions that you can share, we can do. I hope everyone has followed Future in AI, and I think follow it, and you will learn a lot about AI in the next this year. Like at least a lot of new things are coming ahead. Nivedan, I think you have to go, and please
so
take a
much.
leave whenever you are
Appreciate this.
comfortable.
Yeah, please carry on. Okay, bye guys. Really appreciate this. I hope you had a good time and learned something valuable. And for those of you who want to discuss something, feel free to drop me an email on my personal email ID here. I'm just going to drop this here. I saw Dhruv your message. Unfortunately, we can't take it, but you can drop me an email and we can talk about it specifically. Happy to help always. Bye.